Today I am extremely delighted to be interviewing one of the upcoming stars in British athletics. She was born on 4th December 1995 in Orpington, London. Her mum is British and her dad, Jamaican. At such young age, she holds both British records for the 200 meters and 300 meters. She achieved bronze medals at Rio 2016 and 2013 World Championships in Moscow. Not forgetting, she just also picked up bronze for the women's 200 meters at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia. Dina also was recorded as the fastest woman at age just 19. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my new girlfriend, ha ha ha. Nah, just kidding. It's the one and only Dina Asher Smith.
Hey, you made me laugh.
Oh my God, I really can't believe this is happening and I finally get to meet you. I have been constantly ringing up Pace Sports Management for about over 6 months now begging them. You are such a busy girl. How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah, I'm good. It's been quite a busy morning, obviously getting ready for both your interview and here getting ready for the London Diamond League as well, the Muller Anniversary Games, which I'm obviously really excited for. But yeah, it's been something that we've all been really keen to do, this interview, for ages. Definitely when my agents came to me with it months ago, I was like, definitely. But I've been in America, I've been running around, so yeah, I'm happy that we get to have this chat now.
Before we start, I have to say congratulations on accomplishing a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games. It was definitely a massive achievement knowing how hard you worked. I know it was something that meant a lot to you, as you traveled to Australia 1 month before the Games actually started.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was always going to be one of the main aims of my season. So for me to come away with a bronze medal in such a high caliber field, because you had somebody running 22.0 and then 22.1 for 200 meters in April, which is so fast and so brilliant. And I was very fortunate to have both been in that race and to have achieved a bronze medal. It was something that, yeah, I made one of my focuses of the year, because I made sure that I came to Australia a month before so I could acclimatise, get over the jet lag, escape the bugs, and just get used to everything kind of down under. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, it was one of my main aims, so I'm really happy to have achieved a bronze there.
I have a confession to make. Since being familiar with your name from the London Anniversary Games 2015, I have admired your charming personality so much that I intended to give you a surprise visit when you studied at King's College.
Oh.
However, on that day I was planning to come, my electric wheelchair actually broke down. Can you believe? I think that was a sign, don't you think?
Maybe, because then we get to have like the chat here, but yeah, and I probably would have been at uni carrying all my books thinking, oh, I've got deadlines to do. But yeah, thank you very much. That's really nice to hear that you've been following me since 2015. It really does, it's really heartwarming to think that I've kind of, just through running in a straight line, really been somebody that you admire. So thank you very, very much.
So young lady, without a doubt, you are a British sprinter with so much potential. We understand that the first ever race you won was a cross-country competition at Furry Hall Primary School.
Yeah.
Please tell us about this experience and how your talent in sprinting was established.
Oh, well, cross-country, I'm not doing that again, first of all. I'm not doing that again. So, yeah, I got into it at a very young age. I was at Perry Hall Primary School and I was about 8 years old. And they started a running club there. And I didn't particularly want to go because at that point I was doing swimming, I was doing board diving, I was doing brownies, I was playing the trumpet and the euphonium. So I was doing so many things, I had so many hobbies. And I thought, running, it's not really for me. I do swimming at this point, it's not really for me. Then my friend convinced me to go because she would buy me an ice cream, and obviously I went. And then, yeah, then I got entered to a local competition, and I was thinking, oh, this is long. And I remember running the race, and it was such a long way. Obviously, compared to what I do now, I understand why I hated it, because I turned out to be a 100, 200 meter sprinter. But I remember running up and down the hills in the mud. I could taste like iron in my mouth, which obviously is just fatigue, but I thought it was blood. I thought I was dying. So I stopped and I was like, I can't do this. And they told me to keep going, which I did. And I was very fortunate to have just been running and kind of plodding along, and then I managed to come 5th. So yeah, I was really happy with that. Thanks. I was really, really happy. But obviously, unfortunately, because I came 5th, that meant I had to do it again, which I wasn't too happy with. But from there, I joined my local athletics club, which was Blackheath and Bromley, because yeah, as you said, I live in Orpington. I'm born in Orpington, live in Orpington, and yeah, my local club was obviously Blackheath and Bromley down there. And from that, I tried throwing hammer. I did long jump. I did long jump for a bit, and then I realised that I was quicker on the runway than I was anywhere else. So then I found out, thank goodness, that yeah, sprinting was for me, and that's how I just kind of fell into it, just through trying things out, and unfortunately having to run across country.
To be honest, apart from your amazing talent in sprinting, what inspires me even more is your extraordinarily positive and lively attitude towards life. In the Huffington Post you stated, I'm a naturally motivated and positive person. I know what I want and how to get it. So please tell me, Dina, what keeps you motivated?
Well, I think, thanks for that, firstly, thank you, it's a nice compliment. But I think that comes in many aspects. Primarily, I'm always a positive person. If you meet my family, we're like really smiley and really happy. So I think that's just genetic. My dad is known for just always smiling, always, always, always smiling. And it's the same for my mum. She's so bubbly, and the same for my grandma, my uncle. I just come from a family of really smiley, positive people. I've always grown up in a really positive environment. So I think that's naturally within me, just smiling and happy and enjoying life, because I'm very grateful to be alive, very grateful to be able to call my passion my job. So firstly, yay, happy with that. But for me, how I stay motivated is the fact that I always just want to fulfill my potential. I always want to go out there and race to the best of my potential. And whether or not that means in a race coming 8th, coming 6th, coming first or second, for me, my motivation is just to be the best human that I can be, and that goes for all aspects in life. Or whether that was in uni, I always wanted to study a lot and a broad kind of spectrum of events and events and situations and issues, because I wanted to just be a well-rounded human being. And for me, again with running, I make sure when I go into training, obviously I like to go out there and win, but for me it's just being the best athlete and the best person I can be. So that's how I stay motivated, because you're never really finished doing that, are you? It doesn't matter how old you are, you always can do something better, you can always keep learning, you can always improve on your situation. So that's how I stay motivated. I just always want to be the best person that I can be.
Without a doubt, 2017 was an extraordinary year for you due to breaking your foot before the Grand Prix indoor session. Reflecting on your life even back to childhood, please tell us what was the toughest experience in your life and how did you overcome the pain?
I think it was probably split between 2 events. So primarily last year, that was very, I don't think, actually to be fair, I think I've been quite fortunate. I haven't had what I would classify as really, really tough experiences. But for me, the hardest things I've had to overcome with, firstly, yes, last year, broke my foot in the year before a home world championships, which is nobody's idea of ideal preparation, and also kind of having to graduate from university, focus on my studies, make sure that I get the grades that I want. That was really, really difficult. So for me, yeah, that was hard. Mentally and physically it was tough. The rehab was quite painful. At times I knew that I had 10,000 words of dissertation to write, and I also had all my rehab to do and all my training to make sure that I could run in August. So at times I was very stressed. If you ask anybody that saw me in that, like the 3-month period of both rehab and uni when they kind of collided, they would just say that yeah, I was very stressed. I looked like a mess. My hair was always everywhere. I was just like very much write, study, train, do the rehab, sleep, eat, do it again. So for 3 months, that was my life. It was quite challenging, but it definitely pushed me to my limits, and I understand that when I'm in a tough situation, I know that I can cope with it. So it kind of gave me the confidence leading into the rest of my life that I can kind of succeed despite whatever cards are dealt to me. But also, one of the toughest things that I had to overcome, again, it's, in the grand scheme of life, it's not that hard, but when I was kind of going to secondary schools, I took all the grammar school tests, and I got into most of them, but the one I really wanted to go to, I didn't get into, and that was my fault, because I didn't study, I didn't revise, I was quite complacent, because before that I'd always just been like, oh, I'll be fine, I'll pass the test, it's fine, you know, when you just don't really study. But I didn't study and I didn't get in, and that taught me the value of hard work, really. It taught me that if you want something, you can't just rest on your laurels and hope it's going to happen, or think that it should happen. You have to go out there and make it happen. So for when I was like 11, I've always, from that little shock of not getting into the school that I wanted first time around, I got into it like a couple of weeks later, so it wasn't a biggie. I went to the school I wanted to go to. But it taught me the value of hard work, which, yeah, resonates with me, and I'm very grateful to have that lesson instilled in me from such a young age. Was obviously really useful as an elite athlete now. So.
Being fourth place in the women's 200 meters at the World's Athletics Championship 2017 is something we all admire. Congratulations.
Thanks.
In the Huffington Post you stated, when I've had setbacks like injuries, I've learned that positive mental attitude is essential. Do you think having struggles and hardships in life are important for our own human development?
Definitely, 100% is important for our own human development, because if you kind of have everything given to you quite easily, or everything just kind of falls into place, you don't really learn essential life lessons. You don't really learn you don't really know how strong you are until you've had things happen to you so you've had kind of bad things happen to you, or you've had to really work for something, or you've had to kind of be in a situation where it's not looking good, but if you get through it, it really does make you a strong human being. So yeah, I definitely think that. I definitely kind of, you were saying that as well, I agree with you. That yeah, you need to have tests in life to either to make you personally realise really hard lessons, really big life lessons, because it's all good, well and good. Your parents kind of sitting you down and saying, you have to work hard, you must get degrees, you must drink water, you must study, you must do all these things. You're like, yeah, I hear you, but it's only when maybe if you get really dehydrated, you're like, yeah, definitely going to drink water. So yeah, you need these life lessons so you can personally learn what you need to do in life to achieve what you want to achieve, or be what you want to be.
As we can see, you are now competing on track with the world's greatest athletes. The Danish champion Daphne Schippers is one of those incredible competitors who won the 200 meters, which you incredibly came in fourth position at the 2017 Athletics Championship. You mentioned in The Guardian, I've known her a long time, which is why as soon as I crossed the line I gave her the biggest hug ever. I know how hard she works.
Yeah.
Can I just say that from watching your interviews, I think you are definitely a very compassionate woman.
Oh, thanks.
So, despite having some level of competitiveness, how do you still make room for compassion and empathy for your opponents?
That's a really good question. Thanks. Nobody's ever asked me that before. So, thanks. I think that comes naturally to me. I feel like I'm quite fortunate that my job is to run in a straight line, which might sound really strange, but at the end of the day, like, I just run in a straight line. Now and again I run with a bend, now and again I change hands with a baton. I'm not a doctor, I'm not trying to save anybody's lives, so I'm not a fireman trying to save people's lives, you know what I mean? So I'm quite fortunate that, yeah, my job's intense, yeah, it's competitive, but at the end of the day I'm doing a sport, I'm an entertainer, and ultimately, obviously I want to go and win the Olympics, but I'm grateful enough that my job isn't life or death. So I'm very, very happy that I'm able to go out there and do something that is fun. And that, I think, I carry into how I view the people that I race with. Yeah, obviously when I stand on the line, I want to win. Like, that's why I'm there, that's what I train for, and I'm not standing on the line hoping to come second. I want to beat everybody there, all of them. But if they beat me, that doesn't stop me being able to look at them and understand the journey that they've been on, understand that what they've achieved that day is incredible. Maybe they're a legend and they're kind of cementing their legend status. You can't help but be happy and admire somebody like that, even if you're racing, because, as I said, we run in a straight line. Everybody's on their own journey. So when you do race somebody like Shelly Ann, or you race somebody like Daphne, you race somebody like Alice and Felix, yeah, you want to win every single time, definitely. If I could win every single time, obviously I'd take that. But you've also got a certain level of respect and admiration for the journey that they've been on and how they managed to come back every year despite having setbacks, despite having things in their personal life, despite for Shelly-Ann having a baby, for Alice and Felix being in how many Olympics and medaling in like all of them. You've got utmost respect for those girls. So that's what I carry into a race. You've got to stand on the line and have respect for the competitors that you're with, and you appreciate the hardships and the obstacles they've had to overcome. And ultimately, I think that makes it a bitter race, because if you respect how strong they are and you respect what they're doing and how admirable and how lucky you are to be in that kind of field and see that all these women are incredible in their own right, you know that you have to do so much better, because they're going to be having a really good day, and they always have a really good day. So I think having that compassion, empathy and level of understanding and respect for your competitors ultimately does make you a better athlete as well.
What I find striking about you is that you seem like a person who knows how to handle criticism well, and also, you know exactly what you want to achieve in life. In the Huffington Post, you said that you take things one step at a time. What makes you rebel against pressure and be yourself?
Thanks. I think that pressure and criticism is something that comes with the territory. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're in business, whether you're kind of in any walk of life, you're going to have criticism. You can't sail through life with everybody agreeing with you. As we were talking about earlier, with you need to go through things to learn and improve, it's the same thing with criticism. You need to have criticism if you want to improve as a person. So I don't take criticism personally. I take it as coming from a good place, and that something I could consider, take on board, think about in my own head, and then if I deem it to be appropriate, which is more often than not, definitely work on it. And it's the same thing with pressure. You really don't, again, you don't know what you're made of, you don't know what you can do until you kind of do something against all odds, do something when everybody's watching. And that's the competitor in me. I love to go into these big races, I love to kind of put on a show. So yeah, I love being under pressure, I love it. You know, when in the World Cup, when the England, was it the England match? No, it was, I love it when it goes to penalties. Everybody's always laughing at me. I watched one of the England matches and I was watching it with some friends, and I was so happy that it went to penalties, and they were like, no, I don't want it to go penalties, that's not how you win a football match. And I was like, look, I like to see what people are made of. I like to see when it's just them and the goalkeeper and it's high pressure, you've got the whole country watching, the whole world watching. I like to see what people are made of, and that's me. I love racing under pressure, I love it, because I know that when it comes, I'm always ready for a good race, I'm always ready for a fight. So yeah, I like to see that in other things too. So yeah, I love it when football matches go to penalties. I love a bit of pressure. It makes everything more interesting.
On that note, let's stick to the topic of human development. Over the years, we have seen tremendous success as well as major expectations from great athletes like Mo Farah and Usain Bolt. People around the world were stunned and disappointed when they suffered from defeat in London 2017. In interviews over the years, you have constantly emphasized that expectations will not define your career. So, what are your views on the immense pressure that global celebrities face today, and do you think we all should have a more positive attitude towards determined people?
That's a really good question as well. Thanks, that's a really good question, yeah. I feel like the whole world could do with a little bit more empathy and understanding, normally. Because I think despite people being celebrities, despite people kind of being these incredible athletes like Mo, Usain, Shelly-Ann, all these legends, the sports, Serena Williams, across other sports as well, everybody, I think we do have it actually, where people look at their situation, even though you see them winning, or even you might see them losing sometimes, you still respect the struggles, you still respect the journey that they're on, because it's nice to watch, and that's what makes them a legend. So yeah, it would be nice if there was more of that, if there was more people that kind of looked and reflected before they kind of judged a performance or judged these celebrities or judged these legends on what they see right there, and they took a step back to consider them as human beings who are great in spite of the things that have been challenging for them. And yeah, I think that would be really, really nice, but obviously that's in a perfect world, and we do not live in one, so...
In undoubtedly true to say that you are an upcoming world-class sprinter with so much potential and success ahead of you. You did mention in a short interview with Gabby Logan at the Great North Run that you are looking forward to a potentially decade worth of competing. However, can you tell us how many countries you have competed in so far?
Oh wow, I don't actually know. Right, let me think. It's going to take a long time. I've done my first international. I've obviously done England, Ireland. Oh, have I raced in Ireland? I don't think I've raced in Ireland. England, Scotland, Wales. I've done Turkey. That was my first race. I've done Barcelona. I've done Slovenia. I've done Moscow, Italy a few times. I've done America. Wait. Oh my gosh. 9, thanks. I looked at my hands like, oh, I see 10. I've done America. I've done Zurich. I've done Czech Republic, Germany, France, Norway, Sweden. I've done, pardon? Brazil, Rio. Yeah, don't want to forget that one. I've done Beijing. I'm trying to think of, oh, it's really hard. I've done, where did we go last year? I didn't go many places, I got injured. Sorry. I'm trying to think, I've done Poland. I've done Australia. Oh, I've done so many. I don't know. I've probably forgotten a few, but 20 plus, and I'm just starting out, so haven't done any of them. Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere. Basically everywhere.
I race in every. Oh, I don't have a race. I've raced in every continent apart from like the polar ones. Like, the cold ones aren't for me. But I've raced in every continent, which is very cool. Oh, yeah, I've done Morocco now as well. Yeah, sorry, I keep remembering them.
Let's now move on and talk about education, which is something close to your heart. Congratulations on graduating with a history degree. We have all been inspired by how you have juggled between education and athletics. Reading the Bromley Times, I have discovered that you also achieved 9 A stars and 2 AS in your GCSEs.
I did.
In your IAAF interview on YouTube, you mentioned you are a bit of a nerd who loves learning. You went on to say that learning where we got today is so interesting. So Dina, how do you think education can make us into better people?
I think, as we're on the topic, I think, this is actually something that's really close to my heart. Again, very good question. I think that education, making sure it's a contentious issue, because education in itself, you have to think about what are people being educated with, which is a caveat that you just got to assume that we're being educated with the right things first. And I'm going a bit tangent. We're being educated with the right things, but whatever they are, you've got to just hope we are being educated with the right things. But I feel like if both men and women across the world were educated with the right things, I feel like we'd have a far more tolerant, a far more accepting and inclusive society. I feel like we'd understand that as people we're not that different, and that if different groups of people from different walks of life, they do certain things, before we kind of judge and react, we take a step back and try and understand where they're coming from, trying to understand why they're doing what they're doing and what their perspective on life is, and then you assess what they're saying. So I feel like being educated and having a more educated world, not just a population, but a more educated world, would really kind of benefit how we treat the environment, how we treat each other, how we treat animals, how we approach global issues, and how we want to step forward as a human race into the future, really. So I feel like the education is the bedrock of all of that, because obviously you've got to learn stuff to have an opinion. So education is really important, and it's something that's really close to my heart.
This ladies, legend.
Guys!
Me. Extraordinary. Answers.
Keep asking good questions, thanks.
Let's now move on and talk about education, which is something close to your heart. Peoples. Okay, let's move on to talking about one of your favorite hobbies. It could be only one thing. Food.
Yes.
When asked in an IAAF interview about what is your favorite food you passionately quoted? I like jam, egg, and plantain, rice and peas, toffee pudding, pizza, and many more.
I like food.
So there's only one question to ask you. How does food motivate your life?
Oh, I love food. I think most people like food. You know what? That's really, you made me smile. Yeah, I love food. You know what? I was upstairs, we were just looking at, this is a bit of a tangent as well. I'm allergic to something in desserts. I don't quite know what it is, but I'm allergic to something, but I can't say it. You know, dulce de leche, the thing that you dip churros in, and some things in pear tarts, and then the nice Biscoff biscuit. I'm allergic to them, and it's like my favourite thing. So I'm always balancing of like, yeah, I really want one, but do I want an allergic reaction? So I normally just eat a little bit. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's besides the point. Yeah, I love food. My relationship with food, yeah, it's great. I mean, I love to eat. We all need to eat to survive. Obviously, being an athlete, I can't eat all the cakes and all the bad foods that I like as much as I can, but right now I think, particularly now I finished uni, one of my guilty pleasures is just going out for a really nice meal, which sounds so boring, but I am a big foodie, so yeah, just going out for a really well cooked meal with really nice ingredients, something a bit experimental, is honestly one of my passions. Like, I'm one of those people that when I'm eating food I smile. I might do a little dance as well. My friends laugh at me because I know it's like I know it's embarrassing. It's one of those things that's just involuntary. I get really happy. Yeah, I love pizza. Love Domino's pizza, barbecue base, pepperoni with the dip. Very important. But yeah, so if I run well this weekend, I say I might treat myself. But Europeans is kind of close. So yeah, I love food. That's basically what I'm saying.
When the years pass and your popularity increases, would we see you appearing on programs like MasterChef?
Oh, I got asked to go on Bake Off a couple of years ago, but I was at uni, I was starting uni, so I couldn't go. I was really sad. But to be fair, I actually don't think I'll go on MasterChef. And you might look at me like I'm crazy. Like it's one of my favourite things to watch. Bake Off, love it. MasterChef, love it. When I was in Australia, there was this program called My Kitchen Rules, which was great. Loved that. So I got to transfer my foodie habits as something out there. But I'm really competitive, obviously as an athlete. So I don't think I'd go on it unless I'd had about 3 months practice and training with like a professional chef. And I know I sound really weird, but I can't go on TV and lose. Like that's just not who I am. So until I actually had the skills to win and really impress everybody, I actually would just keep declining. So that's just me being competitive, and I know everybody might look at me like, oh, you're so extra and unnecessary, but unfortunately that's who I am. Like, I'm not going to go into MasterChef or Bake Off and not be pushing to win. So, and right now my cooking skills, they're decent, but they're not MasterChef or Bake Off level. So if you see me on it, you know that I've done a lot of training, and that even though I might go, oh no, I've never done this before, I've definitely done it over 100 times. Definitely, and I know exactly what's going to happen, and I've perfected it, so you probably won't see me unless I'm really ready to go.
In the Huffington Post you quoted, I have to be very controlled with my diet, which is hard, and went on to say, as an athlete, it is important to fuel my body right to help me perform well.
Yeah.
So, please tell us, what is it like restraining yourself from eating enjoyable foods as a sprinter? I bet it must be hard.
It is hard, yeah, thank you for reminding me. No, I'm joking. It is difficult, but mainly just because you see something and you want to eat it, especially with all the food adverts. You walk past places, bakeries, always selling croissants, pret-a-manger, have the nice macaroni cheese, everything. Just, the food looks so nice, so it is hard to kind of just make sure, like, no, don't do that, no, don't do that. And that, for me, I'm very much one of those people that find it easy to go into tunnel vision. I find it easy to say no to my friends for going out. I find it easy to minimize all distractions and focus, but food is my Achilles heel, I cannot lie. But for me, I just kind of think of it in the bigger picture. I'm like, look, this cake, the sticky pudding might be really nice, this chocolate brownie and ice cream might be amazing, this apple crumble might be incredible, I really want McDonald's right now and KFC and everything, but is that going to help me run faster? No. Am I going to regret it when I cross the line in second or third and I'd be thinking, oh, what could I have done to improve my performance? And then it comes down to not having a burger last week. That's what I keep in my mind. It's about the bigger picture and being focused, but it is, yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
We are coming closer to the end of the interview. Dina, I know this is cruel for me to say, but let's just imagine we had a crystal ball and we could look into your future. Having accomplished a history degree and a stunning athletics record, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Oh, I don't know. I get asked this a lot. I actually don't know, because if anything, I've just asked, I've learned that life is very unpredictable. So I really don't know. I'm not too fatalistic. I'm not one of those people that's like, right, I want the wedding, I want the kids, I want a nice husband, I want this house here. I'm not one of those people, because I kind of appreciate that you never know what life's going to throw at you. Like tomorrow, I don't know, anything could happen between now and tomorrow. I might not even race on Sunday, touch wood. But you just never know what's going to happen in life. So hopefully I'd have won all the competitions that I want to win. I'd be able to study, become more like intelligent, become understanding, more worldly. One of those people that, like Oprah. Oprah is the goal. I like Oprah. Sorry, I just thought of that. Oprah is like the ideal. Yeah, I like Oprah. So, to be like Oprah would be cool. But I don't know. I really don't know what my life's going to look like. But it's something that I find very, very exciting to think about what's going to happen.
On that note, we know in any kind of sport, having support from families and fans are two important necessities. I think this was well demonstrated in the cases of Mo Farah and Usain Bolt, as their countries supported them incredibly with passion. I bet it was a special moment when Usain Bolt gave you your bronze medal for the women's 200 meters at the Commonwealth Games. So, I want to ask you, how do you think competitors could show appreciation back to their fans and communities, especially once they have retired from competing?
That's a good question. I think it depends on who you are as a person, both as the athlete or the competitor, and who your fans are and how and where your fan base is. Because obviously it's easy for me to, I know that a lot of young children, particularly girls, look up to me, so I focus on making sure that I do a lot of business in schools. I do a lot of stuff with girls, so they have, hopefully in me, a positive role model and something to look up to positively. That's how I give back at the moment. Obviously that will shift and change as I grow up as a person and change, and maybe the fan base changes as well. But I think it's about being receptive to kind of who you are. I know the sprinter Johan Blake does a lot of work with underprivileged communities in Jamaica. I know that a lot of Kenyan athletes, they kind of give back to their villages and their homes back there. But I think it's particular for each athlete. You kind of have to look at who admires you and who you feel most kind of indebted to, and tailoring your response and how you give back to them specifically. Yeah.
In the Huffington Post you stated, I would advise people to plan goals or find something that inspires or motivates them. So Dina, can you give us some final advice on how we can reach our dreams in life?
That's a good question. I think I'd have probably a couple of steps. Firstly, I'd say be malleable and be able to change, because you might turn around and say, I might be like, yep, I want to win Olympic gold. That's it. Like, that's what I want to do. But I have to understand that I've got to be malleable, because if somebody comes up and then they completely blow everybody out the water, they break the world record, they do everything, and they're at the same time as me, I might realise that Olympic gold is not for me, and I have to be able to reassess my dreams, reassess my goals, and be content with perhaps getting a silver or a bronze. You never know what's going to happen. So I firstly say, have your goals, set them, be ambitious, be as ambitious and as crazy as you like, but definitely be malleable, because you have to readjust yourself depending on your circumstances, to avoid just getting depressed and being sad if you don't achieve them. So firstly, be malleable, but secondly, be patient, because you might work for something and you might feel like you've gone to the end of the earth, you might feel like you've done everything that you can do, but you still might not see the results that you want. And for that, you've got to be patient. You have to have faith that the work that you've done will stand you in good stead to achieve you and catapult you towards your goals. But you've also got to understand that you might not see the results immediately. You might have to wait a few years before you see things come through. So particularly for me, that's strength training. a couple of years ago I wasn't very strong. I couldn't really do a press up, not going to lie. Sit-ups were very hard for me, but obviously I was still running fast times. But I was doing all this strength training, I was doing all these press ups. Now I can do like quite a few. I can do, my abs are strong, but the time might not have changed. And I had to tell myself to be patient and have faith that all the work that I was doing would culminate in results when my body was ready. And then the last one I would say, make sure you have good people around you and that you have faith in the people around you, because ultimately I don't see the point in kind of having these goals in life if you're not going to enjoy the process. So you have to make sure that whoever you take along the journey to you achieving your goals, or like your family, your friends, whoever's there with you, make sure that you have a laugh. Make sure you have a laugh with them. Yeah,
extremely agree.
But make sure that you can
in my
have a laugh.
Situation. Extremely agreed. Same in my situation.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seriously. That's good. Yeah, I think that, yeah, it will resonate with a lot of people. But yeah, make sure that you can trust the people around you and that you enjoy their company, because ultimately on the crazy journey that is life, what's the point if you're not kind of smiling with it, really? And that you can trust people around you to have your best interests, both in performance, so for me in athletics, and mentally, just as a human, in your happiness, and have your best interest at heart. So yeah.
Well, what can I say? Dina, thank you very much for doing this anticipated interview. I feel privileged to come across successful and positive people like yourself. I am sure people would agree. You are an inspirational role model to young women that need positivity and success in their life. I wish you all the best for the summer athletics season ahead. You do know Javed Moore now, so I hope you can come back to my hot seat real soon.
Yeah,
hopefully
definitely.
With some medals.
Hopefully
I know you aren't going to forget me. Ha ha ha. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Thank you very much for a very enjoyable and very insightful and well thought out interview. Thank you. It's really made me smile, and it's definitely been worth the wait, so thank you very much.